Hi, greetings everybody. Erev Tov, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Oh boy, we're almost by Rebbe Shimon, and it is, whew, you could feel it. You could feel it. Okay, so let's sing a little bit as we get into that zone. I want to sing for you a Nigun that I wrote in Uman a few years ago. I've sung it here before, and it'll bring together these two worlds. It's very close to my heart. Still don't have words for it, but it's put in whatever you feel. Da 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 dee. Bam 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 bam. I da da dum. I da da dee da dee. Da 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 dum. I da 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 dum. Da 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 da. I da da dum. I da 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 dum. I da da dum. Da da da. I da da dee. I da da dee da dee. Do 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 da da dum. I da da dee. Da 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 I da da dee. I da da do. Da 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 dee da dee da do 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 do. Da da dee da dee da do 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 do. I do do. Da 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 la 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 dee. I da da dee dee. Dee da la 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 la. Hey, da 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 da. Oh, oh, da da dee da dee da 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 da. Oh, da da. Da 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 la la da dee da la la dee. I da do 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 do. Dee da da la la da dum. Ah da la la. One more time. Oh yeah. Oh da da do 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 do. I da. Dee da la la dee da dee da do 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 do. Oh yeah. Dee da da la la dee da 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 dee. I da da dee do. Dee da 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 da. I oh. Welcome everyone. Tonight's shir is for the refuah shlema of precious Yakir Shlomo ben Tanya Malka. For refuah shlema immediately, Bezrat Hashem, and be besimcha and grow for many more years besimcha, with closeness to the tzaddikim. His family should only know of Kedushas Haaretz, Kedushas Yantiv, Kedushas Rebbe Shimon bar Yochai, and Kedushas Rebbe Nachman ben Fegen. We have a really exciting shir tonight. Let me ask you, did you ever have a clear feeling, a very clear feeling where there was really like no doubt that you sensed that it was worth coming into the world just to experience that specific event in your life? Obviously, for parents, they'll say, well, of course, to bring children to the world, but, or hopefully they'll say that. But what I mean more is something else. Did you ever hear something from someone? Did you ever hear a Torah from somebody? Did you ever hear a song from someone where you really said, with Emunah Shlema, you really felt like saying, wow, the whole thing, the whole trip of being in this world was all worth it just so I could hear this. Not a pashut thing, not such a pashut thing, but on a trip in an agala, in a carriage, that Rebbe Nachman took with Rebbe Nachman in May of 1810, a few days after Pesach, a trip which moved Rebbe Nachman to Uman. Rebbe Nachman heard Torahs on that agala, on that chariot, where he says, "Ve'ilmale lo atina le'alma, ela linsa imo derech hazeh dayai." Listen to these words. "Ilmale lo atina le'alma." Had I only come, atina le'alma, had I only come to this world, ela linsa imo derech hazeh dayai. Just to hear, just to be with Rebbe Nachman on this trail, on this road from Breslov to Uman, it would have been enough for me. And obviously, Rebbe Nachman could have said that about any moment in his history with Rebbe Nachman. The question is, why did he dafka say it over here, that it was enough for me to come to this world just to hear Rebbe Nachman revealed to me over here on the trip? The background of this amazing trip was that Rebbe Nachman's house was burnt down at Chol HaMoed Pesach. Word got to Rebbe Nachman that they prepared shop for him in Uman, a place where Rebbe Nachman had already said he would want to be at, he would want to end up at. But when word came and told him, the place that you wanted is ready for you in Uman, Rebbe Nachman says Rebbe Nachman's face turned bright red. But he didn't say anything, and Rebbe Nachman didn't understand why. But it was later revealed to him that Rebbe Nachman understood, oh, if they're ready for me in Uman, that means they're also ready for me up there. So they start journeying to Uman. And on the road to Uman is what we're going to be learning tonight. Let's get a bit more of context. The person you're going to see right now, the face you're going to see right now, is a familiar face to every Breslover Chassid, hopefully, in the world. This beautiful face, who Bezrat Hashem, we're going to be spending 2 classes just on this person at a later time, is Rebbe Avram Sternhartz. Sternhartz is a name that you're all familiar with, because that was Rebbe Nassan's last name. Rebbe Avram Sternhartz was the great-grandson of Rebbe Nassan of Breslov. So if you want to get a little bit, if you had to kind of guess or get a little bit of a glimpse as to what Rebbe Nassan looked like, perhaps, maybe, just look into this beautiful face. A very, very, very short man. Rebbe Avram Sternhartz was born in 1862, and his first 73 years of his life, he was in Russia. But because of his lineage, where he comes from, Rebbe Nachman was something that he was breathing in from birth. We're going to have a whole shir just about his life. The point over here that I want to say is at the age of 73, in 1936, Rebbe Avram Sternhartz makes Aliyah. He comes to Eretz Yisrael, and he passes away here in 1955. Why am I bringing up Rebbe Avram Sternhartz? First of all, Rebbe Avram Sternhartz is just to look at the picture of a tzaddik like this just makes you want to do another holy act. I believe in that. Just seeing these faces makes you want to do another holy act. Rebbe Avram Sternhartz arrives in Eretz Yisrael in 1936, just about Rosh Chodesh Adar. By Zayin Adar, Rebbe Avram Sternhartz is in Meron. What was happening then, 1936? What's happening in Russia? The gates to Uman are completely closed. They're locked. They're shut. No one can get there anymore for Rosh Hashanah or Bichlal be there. And it's a bad, bad scene. Rebbe Avram Sternhartz comes to Meron, and he turns around to his chevra that are with him in Meron, and he tells them, anyone who has a ratzon to be by the Rebbe in Uman, this is the place to be by the Rebbe. Come to Meron. It's as if you're in Uman. And everyone knows that the gathering of the Breslover Chassidim for years and years on Rosh Hashanah, and till today, every Rosh Chodesh and many times during the year, where was the kibbutz? Where was the gathering? It was Meron for years. Till 89, I think, was the first year. 88, 89 was the first year that Uman was open to the tzibur. It was all happening in Meron. Why? Why not Hebron? Why not Yerushalayim? Why Meron? Why Meron? And I'm so excited to answer that question with you. Rebbe Nachman and Rebbe Nassim each came to Eretz Yisrael once, and as we know about both of their trips, and it's documented quite clearly in the books Likutei Moharan, the life of Rebbe Nachman, and Yemei Moharanat, the days of Rebbe Nassim, each of them had a pilgrimage to Meron. Rebbe Nachman came to Meron. He spent there a significant amount of time during his few months that he was here. He was up all night dancing, crazy simcha. Dancing and singing, they said his face was shining bright. Reb Nachman was there in Meron by Rebbe Shimon. At the end of the shir, Bezrat Hashem, tonight, towards the end of it, we'll bring down a very clear direction to the two neshamas. But I want to now go back to the teaching that Rebbe Nachman gave over to Reb Nassim while they were on their way to Uman. Now tonight, I would almost call this Breslov 101. From some of you, you've heard this teaching before or variations of it. But tonight's teaching is something that, for me at least, every time I'm privileged to learn it and look at it, I get such tremendous chiyas. Tremendous chiyas. And the Yantiv's in the air, Lag BaOmer's in the air, Rebbe Shimon's in the air, and all the parents of the world in Eretz Yisrael and in the world don't have to worry this year about Lag BaOmer and their children and bonfires. So there's this like calm approach to Lag BaOmer this year, even though it is painful that we can't go to Meron. Although mamish, like a minute before Shir, someone texted me and said, "Okay, Shlomo, don't tell anybody, but I got in. I'm one of the 120. Send me a list." And then Tzvi Kramer has sent me messages of how much it'll cost to take a helicopter, to take a chopper ride for an hour over Meron for $1,500. All these different inyanim. But this year we're going into Rebbe Shimon in a different place. In our homes, we're going to Rebbe Shimon. But the way that we're going to go to Rebbe Shimon is together with Rebbe Nachman, because they always go together. So this is the teaching that you'll see in front of you right now. This teaching is a famous teaching because this is the opening to Likutei Moharan. Before Torah Aleph, this is printed in Likutei Moharan. Now this does not show up in the first printing of Likutei Moharan, which was printed in 1808. This teaching was printed in the editions that followed the Rebbe's departure from this world, when the Tinyana, when the whole second section of Likutei Moharan was added. So this wasn't given over until 1810, so it couldn't have been in the printing of 1808. So look over here, Chevra, Shem, if you could zoom in a little bit to get a little bit larger. Thank you so much. This is the teaching of how we begin Likutei Moharan Bichlal, how we begin the awesome Sefer Likutei Moharan. Lechu chazu mif'alot Hashem hitgalut nifla misod gdulat atana Eloki Rebbe Shimon ben Yochai Zal. This is Rebbe Nachman coming and saying, "Come and let's see the great wonders of the world, the tremendous revelation of the secret of the greatness of the godly Tana, Rebbe Shimon ben Yochai Zal." In other words, before I even begin my whole inyan, Rebbe Nachman, this and that, let's talk about Rebbe Shimon bar Yochai. Let's talk about Rebbe Shimon. So look at this. Rebbe Shimon ben Yochai hiftiach shelo tishtakach Torah misrael al yado. Rebbe Shimon bar Yochai is the reason you and I are learning Torah. That's what this basically means. Because Rebbe Shimon bar Yochai promised that Torah would not be forgotten from Am Yisrael al yado, through him. Mazat Omeret, he was an arev, he was a guarantor. He took it upon himself. He said, "I'm telling you, what era is this? This is, like we're going to say right now, Kamuva b'divrei rabotenu zichronam livracha." Like it's brought down in the words of our Rebbe Zichronam livracha, "Kshenichnesu rabotenu lekeren b'yavne." When our Rebbe's entered Keren b'yavne, and when was Keren b'yavne? When did this happen? After Chuban Bayit Sheni, right? So he says, "Kshenichnesu rabotenu lekeren b'yavne amru." After the Churban Habayit, Atida Torah shetistakach mi Yisrael. He said, the Torah is going to be forgotten from Am Yisrael. That's what they said when they gathered together. Amar Rebbe Shimon ben Yochai, shelo tishtakach. He says, no, it will not be forgotten. Shene'emar, because it says, ki lo tishakach mipi zar'o. Because it's brought down in Sefer Devarim, it will not be forgotten from his zera. Meaning that Am Yisrael won't forget the Torah. Right? That's what it says. So Rebbe Shimon bar Yochai is saying to the Rabbanim, I know it looks like it's the end of the world right now, and I know it looks like no one's going to remember Ma'amad Har Sinai, no one's going to remember anything that we've established by now, any of the Torah, but I'm telling you, I'm giving you my word. The Torah will never, ever be forgotten, no matter what. I'm giving you my word. Kamevur b'Zohar, and like it's brought down in the Zohar, now we're all becoming Kabbalists, right? B'hai chibura, the Ihu Sefer Zohar, with this chibur, with this composition, which is the Sefer HaZohar, Yafkun Bei Min Galusa, they will come out of Galut. Galut will end. We will come out of Galut through the Sefer HaZohar. And this is just one of the reasons why many people attribute the learning of Pnimius, of going inside, in order to, and learning the Zohar, and learning the Pnimius HaTorah and the secrets, as a sign to the end of times and the beginning of the Messianic time, which we're all waiting for. Yesterday I saw a beautiful Perush. Behai Chibura doesn't just mean in this composition, this Choveret. It means Behai Chibura, when we connect together through learning Sefer HaZohar, when we feel close to each other, when we learn Pnimius HaTorah, Yafkun Bei Min Galusa, we will come out of Galus. What a beautiful concept, huh? When we're learning Pnimius HaTorah, when we're learning the deepest secrets, and we're getting close to each other through this kind of Talmud Torah, what happens? We shine. We are Zoharim, and at that moment, Galut doesn't exist. Let's go back for a second to Rebbe Nachman and the Agala. Remember he said, if it was only to come to this world to hear this Torah, it would have been worth it. So Rebbe Nachman's listening to this Torah, and at that moment that he's learning this Torah from Rebbe Nachman, Galut doesn't exist. Friends, we've had so many moments together, Baruch Hashem, and we should have many more moments together. We're Behai Chibura, when we're Mechubarim, because we're learning, and we are Zoharim, and we're shining. At that moment, Yafkun Bei Min Galusa, we are out of Galut. Galus doesn't exist. You know, they asked, I forget who it was, if it was the Ropshitzer or the Rim, I forget which tzaddik it was, but one of the tzaddikim that was alive at the time of the Chayza of Lublin. And by the Chayza of Lublin, there was such a concentration of holiness, such a huge concentration of so many tzaddikim, so much holiness, that what was shocking to people was how could it be that they didn't bring Mashiach? There's all these stories, perhaps they tried, but not for now. But one of the answers they gave was, you have to understand, when we were together, it didn't feel like the Mashiach wasn't there. You can only daven for the Mashiach when you feel like you need it. So we don't have, we have moments like that. Behai Chibura, with our Chibur, with our Chabura, Behai Chibura, coming together, Galut stops existing. So first of all, I want to give us all a bracha. As we're all going back to the world, slowly, as we're beginning to transition back in a very slowly manner to some kind of chiburim, I bless us all that coming together is so that we can come out of, that Galut can be forgotten for the moments that we're together. B'hai chibura yifkun be min galusa. That should be our coming together. That's the energy it should draw in the world. Okay. So Rebbe Nachman began out here by saying that Rebbe Shimon bar Yochai said, I'm a guarantor. I promise the Torah will not be forgotten. Now Rebbe Nachman says, let's understand where Rebbe Shimon, where does he come up saying this? How was he so certain that would be true? Because if we were alive in Rebbe Shimon's time, and Rebbe Shimon would come up to us and say, by the way, the Torah is never going to be forgotten, we would say to him, Shemi, with kol hakavod, take a look. Do you see any chance for tomorrow? Do you see any chance in the world that Yidden will still have a connection to the Torah? Look around you. Absolute churban. Absolute churban. There's no, what you're saying, it sounds almost childish. Mind you also that Reb Shimon was the youngest from that whole chevra. He comes to the older chevra and says this, and we'll get back to that later. Where can he say such a thing? So now the Rebbe says like this. Next paragraph. Ve'ata bo ur'e ve'haven niflaot nistarot shel Toratenu HaKdosha. Now, let's go on a little trip to see how deep and how mysterious our holy Torah really, really, really is. Let's see how secrets work. Look at this. This is unbelievable, Chevra. If you've never seen this before, this is your Lag BaOmer. Ki al ken samach Rebbe Shimon ben Yochai atzmo al hazeh pasuk, ki lo tishakach mipi zaro. Rebbe Shimon was samach, he counted on himself that the Torah won't be forgotten from the zera of Am Yisrael. He put it on himself. Why? Ki be'emes bezeh pasuk be'atzmo merumaz ve'nistar sod zeh. In the pasuk itself is a secret that he was alluding to. Now, Reb Shimon's all about secrets, right? She'al, we're on the fourth line. She'al yedei zar'o shel Yochai, through the zera of Yochai, shehu Rebbe Shimon ben Yochai, right? Yochai, through the seed, through the offspring of Yochai. Who's the offspring of Yochai? Reb Shimon bar Yochai. Reb Shimon is the seed of Yochai. Al yado, through him, lo tishtakach Torah mi Yisrael. Torah will be forgotten from Israel. Why? Ki sofei tevot shel zeh pasuk. What's the pasuk Reb Shimon used? Ki lo tishakach mipi zar'o hem otiot Yochai. Notice that it's the sofei tevot and not the rashei tevot. Makes sense, right? Usually we do rashei tevot, then the first letter of words, which is an acronym for something. But it's dafka sofei tevot. Why? Why dafka sofei tevot? Because we're talking about the end. We're saying lo tishakach for generations and generations and generations. The Torah will never be forgotten. Why mi pizar'o? From the seed of who? Of the person who spells out. His name is spelled out with the last letter of each of these words. Ki lo tishakach mi pizar'o hem otiot Yochai. This is what Rebbe Nachman revealed. V'zeh shemeramez u'megaleh pasuk ki lo tishakach mipi zar'o. This is what this pasuk is telling us. Ki lo tishakach mipi zar'o daika, from his zera, from his child, from Yochai's child, dafka. Hainu mipi zar'o shel zeh be'atzmo, shehu merumaz v'nistar b'zeh pasuk, shehu atana Yochai. It's the Tana Yochai who is really the theme of this teaching. Ki al yedei zar'o shel Yochai, shemerumaz b'zeh pasuk besofei tevot kanal, shehu Rebbe Shimon ben Yochai, al yado lo tishakach haTorah, ki bezohar da yifkun min galuta kanal. So what did we see so far? What is Rebbe Nachman saying? Rebbe Nachman saying, come, Rebbe Nosson, I want to explain to you a little bit. Do you know why Rebbe Shimon has held out? And why did Rebbe Shimon say what he said? What was he talking about? Why was he so certain about it? How did he know that he can say this? Because he was referring to himself. He wasn't just saying, I'm telling you it won't be forgotten. He put it on himself. He said, I'm going to live a life. I'm going to be the kind of teacher who gathers himself students that know that they're dependent on how much they love each other. And when they realize that everything is dependent on how much the students love each other, like we learned earlier this morning here in Eretz Yisrael, that'll be the vessel so that I can then reveal the secrets of the Torah, which will keep my people filled with oxygen for generations and generations to come. Now, you're probably wondering, I don't know about that. I haven't dabbled in the Zohar. What's my connection to Rebbe Shimon bar Yochai? That's another shir, how it's called Rebbe Shimon and I, which I'll try to send out, showing how you and I are directly connected to all the secrets of Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai. The point that we have until now is Rebbe Nachman is revealing to us the Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai is the reason that there is a Baal Shem Tov, that there's an Arizal, and that there's also a Rebbe Nachman, which we'll see in a second. But Rebbe Nachman doesn't end there. So far he did I hate calling it a play on the words. That cheapens it. It's not a play on the words. It's revealing the secrets from the words. So far we dealt with the secret of the name Yochai. Now let's go to his first name. Veda, shesod Rebbe Shimon be'atzmo hu merumaz bepasuk acher. But the secret of Rebbe Shimon himself, his name, is alluded to in a different pasuk. Kida, ki atana hakadosh Rebbe Shimon hu bechinas ir vekadish min shmaya nachit. Rashi Tevot Shimon. This is a pasuk from Daniel. What does it mean in Aramaic? Ir vekadish. What's an ir? We say Friday night. Irim kadishim uvnei enosha. What's an ir? We say it all the time, every Friday night. But I don't know if we know what it means. Ir means a malach in Aramaic. Irim kadishim, holy angels. So he says here, ir vekadish, a holy angel, min shmaya, from the heavens, nachit, came down. Rashi Tevos, Shimon. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai is coming from such a world, such a high exalted world, this neshama, that the fact that it came down into this world, it was worth the whole world being created for Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. He's coming from such a high place, and he's keeping us, each and every one of us, holding on so tight, so tight. So Rebbe Nachman gave over this Torah to Reb Nachman in the Agalah while they're on their way to Uman. It's very interesting why he dafka decided to give over this teaching, and there are many different reasons. And I told you in the beginning that towards the end, I'm going to tell you something else that explains this connection between these two neshamas, and why Rebbe Avram Sternhardt said, if you want to go to Uman but you can't, this is the place to go. You go to Meron. After Rebbe Nachman gave over this teaching, Reb Nachman turned to Rebbe Nachman and said, wow, even Reb Shimon is probably having hana'ah from this chiddush. Even Rebbe Shimon, who's hearing this chiddush about his name, is probably having such enjoyment. And Reb Nachman looked at him and said, Hen, it's true, Ken. But then the Rebbe said a very, very famous statement. He says, Aval achshav yesh nachal novea mekor chochma. That's what Reb Nachman said. He's saying, Reb Shimon kept us alive until now. But now there's a nachal novea mekor chochma. So I want to make sure that I get for you the exact translation of that, of what that is. Nachal novea mekor chochma means a flowing brook, a wellspring of wisdom. Nachal novea mekor chochma is a pasuk from Mishlei. Chevra, what is the Rashi Tevos? Nachal novea mekor chochma. What does it spell out? What word? Nachman. Now there's a nachal novea mekor chochma. So in Breslov, they have a bunch of different Torahs explaining why Dafka he's talking about a nachal novea. This year can go on for hours. I'm trying to stay very, very focused right now, and because it's so exciting, it's very, very, very difficult. But the souls of Reb Nachman and Reb Shimon are intertwined. Rebbe Nachman was from the younger tzaddikim in his life. If he dies at 38, just 6 months after this teaching is given over, and he was already considered one of the elders by then, it means that Rebbe Nachman really was, shmaya nachis. He's coming from a different place. He's coming from a different world. And what's so incredible is that the Rebbe himself, Rebbe Nachman himself, understood about his neshama, Reb Shimon's neshama, because when Reb Shimon came and said, Ki lo tishakach mipi zar'o. He said this at a young age to older sages. What did Rebbe Nachman say about himself? Ha'esh sheli tukad ad bias HaMashiach. My fire is going to be pounding away until Mashiach comes. Really? Who are you? Who are you, youngin? They were referred to differently. These neshamas are different neshamas. No one looked at them and doubted their sincerity or thought that this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. There was a yira, there's a yira of a fachad. When Reb Shimon says, Kiloti shekach mipi zar'o, there's a yira of a fachad. When Reb Nachman says, Ha'esh sheli tukad ad biat HaMashiach. Can you imagine being Reb Nassim, being on that chariot, hearing Rebbe Nachman say to him, yes, it's true. Reb Shimon has a lot of hana. And then he looks you in the eyes and he says, but you know what? Now there's a nachal noveh mikor chochma. And Reb Nassim's thinking, and I've been privileged to be the so-called right-hand man of Rebbe Shimon bar Yochai of today. Not that he needed that proof, but can you imagine what was going on in Reb Nassim's life? To take the world of secrets one step further, friends. Story is that a little while after Reb Nassim passed away, there was a Breslov chassid that was traveling somewhere, and he ended up in the home of some big Talmid Chacham, a shtickle Kabbalist. And the Breslover saw that this Kabbalist has a copy of Likutei Moharan on his shelf. It wasn't so common back then. And he asked him, the Balabayit saw that the chassid recognized the sefer. He says, "Oh, you know this sefer?" So the chassid said, "Yeah, of course I know this sefer. I'm a Breslover chassid." So the Balabayit says, "So you must. It's so hard to understand, but you must know the connection here. Why this whole sefer opens up with Rebbe Nachman speaking about Rebbe Shimon bar Yochai." So the chassid said, "Well, it seems like you want to tell me." He says, "Oh, it's very simple. Rebbe Shimon ben Yochai is the same exact gematria as Rebbe Nachman ben Simcha. It's the same name. 501. It's the same exact gematria." Now I know what some of the skeptics inside of us are thinking is like, "Oh, that's cute." There's nothing cute here. I mean, it's all cute. It's fire. It's fire. Before Reb Nachman died, the Hasidim were terrified as to what was going to happen to this chiddush that Reb Nachman brought into this world. And Reb Nachman told them all, Tachziku et atzmechem beyachad. Hold yourselves together. Be there for each other. Hold yourselves up. That's the only way my message will continue. Sounds like somebody else. By Rebbe Shimon bar Yochai, this morning we had a whole shir on the fact that the Zohar HaKadosh says, I just want to make sure that I get those words right because it was so powerful. Kol hachaverim b'imei, this is the translation from the Zohar, Kol hachaverim b'imei Rebbe Shimon, all the chevra during the time of Rebbe Shimon, ahavas nefesh v'ruach haisa b'neihem. There was such love between them, such trust. Umishum kach, and because of that, the Zohar says, B'dorosh Rebbe Shimon b'izgal yahava, and it's exactly because of this. This is what enabled Rebbe Shimon to reveal himself, because of the love that existed amongst the chevra, amongst the chabura. So we're going into Lag BaOmer tomorrow night. And like I said in the beginning of Shir, it's a very different year this year. Lag BaOmer is very, very different. I had the privilege last year to be in Meron for the first time on Lag BaOmer. By far. And I was there with my brother-in-law and my good friend, Yeshua Weitzman HaChassan. By far, it was enough to come down into this world to be in Meron on Lag BaOmer. As long as you do it right and you figure out the right timings and you don't get stuck there without money and food, obviously. But we planned it right. It worked for us. It just worked for us. It was something that I can't actually believe that I was there. I can't believe how many people were there, and I can't believe how many people were holding each other together. I can't believe how many people were so besimcha with each other that never met each other. It doesn't exist anywhere else in the world besides another place that I know of. And that's called Uman on Rosh Hashanah. There's something, it's hard to put into words, it's hard to describe unless you were there. When I first went to Uman Rosh Hashanah, the first time I was there on Rosh Hashanah was many years ago, there was no running water for Rosh Hashanah. There was no running water that year. And the simcha I saw on people, it was something that is impossible to explain other than understanding that when you mekasher yourself to the neshama, who became a guarantor that upon them, the Torah will not be forgotten, you're in the chain of simcha. You're combined, you become intertwined in their souls, and you never want to be out of there. You never want to leave. But right now, what's the avodah of you and I today, I guess? What's the avodah? So the avodah is that we have access to these tzadikim's teachings. You know, over Lag BaOmer, take one small piece of the Zohar. That today it's very easy because there's so many translations. Take one piece. Take one Hasidic Sefer, and you'll see that everything that's written in the Hasidic Sfarim is all based on that it's Ita Bazar HaKadosh. It's brought down in the Zara HaKadosh. You take I'll pull out a random Sefer, okay? Right behind me. This is a Sefer. Tiferes HaChinuchi. This is a Sefer from the Radziner Rebbe. Every time you open up any one of his Sfarim, any one of his teachings, it'll always be, here he's quoting the Zohar Kodesh and Tazria. And then he continues with the whole discourse. First the Zohar, then he said what he said. This is how his father, the Beis Yaakov, acted, and this is also how his grandfather, the Mea Shilach, acted, but it's how all the tzaddikim acted. It's how the Tanya is written as well. It's how Likutei Moharan is written. It's how all the Sfarim are written. All of them. So, Chevra, I want to say a few important things right now. We really have to hold each other up. We really have to take most advantage of the fact that we've been able to hold on to each other to a certain extent during this isolation period through the screen. Pick up the phone and call someone. Pick up the phone and call someone and just say, I just want to know if you can hold me up or I can hold you up just a little bit. Just a little bit. Because that gives more space for Rebbe Shimon to be Rebbe Shimon in your life and for Rebbe Nachman to be Rebbe Nachman in your life. Tomorrow night doesn't look like we're going to be in Meron, but we're planning a trip. Right after this whole Mishigas is over, our project is planning 2 trips, a women's trip to Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai and a man's trip to Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai. Our Uman trip is already in the works for this coming November. And we'll have another one next year, probably around March or April. We're not sure yet. But we plan on taking all the advantage that we can from the gates that Hashem Yisborach has opened for us in this world. Dibuk Chaverim, Hiskashus Letzadikim. This is it. This is all we got. And for those of us that are privileged to do this here in Eretz Yisrael, Ashreinu Matov Chelkeinu. Ashreinu Matov Chelkeinu. You know, Reb Shimon, everyone's going to be talking about this year. I'm sure it's going to come up in all the shmuzim, is that this year all of us are like Reb Shimon because we're all coming out of the cave now, right? The shaila is it the first? I hope I didn't ruin anyone's vort for tomorrow night or Tuesday night, but we're all kind of coming out of a cave of sorts. And the shaila is, do we want to be like coming out of, like the first time Reb Shimon came out of the cave or the second time Reb Shimon came out of the cave? I got a letter today from a woman. She said, listen, I need you to calm me down with some very peaceful second coming out Torah. What does that mean? She's like, I came out of the cave, I'm burning everyone up. Send me second time coming out. Send me the second time. So I give us all a bracha to take advantage of all the Torah that we have access to, and Gewalt do we have access. To open up our hearts like we've just simply like we've never done before. To just get some quiet, get some breathing inside. Get a rhythm of calm happening. And realize, wow, I know that God gave the Torah to Am Yisrael on Mount Sinai because of Rebbe Shimon bar Yochai, because he thought about me. He took and made a promise it wouldn't be forgotten. He thought about you. He thought about me. Tomorrow when I tell my daughter, this week is Shabbos Behar, or whenever this happens, that's because of a million things, but it's mainly tomorrow we see it's because Rebbe Shimon promised that would happen. So every time you open a sefer, at least this week, every time you tell your child a story, every time you tell your child a little bit of a Torah, I want you all to visualize Rebbe Shimon standing on the side, going like this, raising his hand, smiling, saying, Ashrei ha'am shekacha lo. Ashrei ha'am she'Hashem elokav. And Rebbe Shimon is right there with you and saying, you can do this. Take the fire of the Nachal Novem Mekor Chochma. Take the fire of the wellspring of wisdom and just grab onto it. Grab onto it until all destructive fires only become fires of holiness. Only become fires that get rid of the bad to make room for the good. And you hear at some, there should be no more churban in the world. There should be no more destructive fires. There should just be fires celebrating Chovda Tana Elekai, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, the Chovda Tana Elekai, Rabbi Shimon Tzadikai, Rabbi Shimon Hu Lakol. Reb Shimon is for everybody. Kedai lismoch al Reb Shimon. It's kedai, it's worthwhile investing your holy stock, your spiritual stock, into the Torahs of Reb Shimon bar Yochai. I'm inviting all of the women to join our women's project, our women's event tomorrow night. The info is in the chat over here. You could find more info online. Register. Make sure it's for free, obviously, but not obviously. It's for free. We would love help with it. Make sure you register on the shlomokatzproject.com for the women's event tomorrow night. And then on Tuesday, we have for everyone also a wonderful event with a few very, very holy singers. My brother, Bezrat Hashem, and the another wellspring, Yosef Karduner, and we'll be hearing Torah from another wellspring, Reb Judah Michel. I'll have the privilege to share a little bit as well, Bezrat Hashem. We're going for it. We're holding each other up. And Bezrat Hashem, the more Behai Chibura, with this Chibur of holding on to each other, Yafkun Beimin Galusa, will be done with this Galus once for all. And welcome Melech HaMashiach B'mheira B'yameinu. Amen. Besimcha.